Hello and welcome to my new moon in Aquarius tarot card reading for I guess the end of January, the beginning of February as we make this transition at the end of the month. We had a new moon at the beginning of January as we moved into the new year, and so it feels quick. It feels like we just did this and here we are doing it again. So I welcome you to my upgraded environment and technology. New year, new stuff, and I'm getting used to all of it. So I hope that the sound is working well and the lighting is better, the video camera is better. We'll see how all of this comes together. I have some music playing in the background. I don't know that you can hear it. It's Spores, or the full album, the full Music for Mushrooms album by East Forest. And I have a few decks of cards out. This first part of the video, the first 20 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, will be available publicly on YouTube, and I will be using the Osho Zen Tarot deck for that. I'll pull 3 cards, one for the individual now, one for the collective now, and one for the highest possibilities for the next lunar cycle, all in the new moon in Aquarius energy. And then I will pause the video and then make a second extended video, which will be another 20 minutes. And that will be with 3 decks of cards, and we'll pull one from each for wisdom from our guides. That usually goes a little deeper into whatever the message is that's coming through in this one. And it is available on my website under New Moon in Aquarius meditation. So I have this cool thing that I do when I'm done reading the energy of the cards. I sit down and I make a meditation just for this moment in time, and it's to guide us into the body, to connect to the spirit, and then to calm the mind, and do all of that in the energy of the new moon in Aquarius. So the extended video goes with the meditation on my website, and you can purchase that for $11 each month. There are also past years of meditations that I have created, and this year I put all of them together. So you will have this new moon in Aquarius reading and meditation, and then you'll have the meditation from the past few years to also go back and listen to. They're short, they're about 25-30 minutes. I have music that I put to a playlist, which you can use at the same time as my voice, and they're pretty amazing. So you should consider doing that once you're finished with this part of the video. All right, that's all the logistics. Let's get to the energy. Last month, we started the year with the individual now, possibilities, the collective now, abundance, and the highest potential for the next lunar cycle was to not cling to the past. If you remember, in the Zen tradition, often what is said is not what it means. It means the opposite. And so the clinging to the past card was very much about don't let that go. It's not going to serve you. And then the wisdom of the guides went even deeper into don't try to hang on to what was, because it's not going to work. So yeah, that was last month. Let's take a look at this month. I have been shuffling while I've been talking to you. It's really fun. I can see myself in the little side camera there and check the sound, check the light. Looks like all is good. All right, we're gonna pull the top 3 cards. Individual now for the lunars, for the new moon in Aquarius. Politics. And I'll try and show you each of the cards close up with the camera. The collective now. Ripeness. Oh, that's good. And then the highest possibilities for the next lunar cycle. Inner voice. Inner voice. Oh, those are beautiful. All right, let's take a deeper dive. And I am trusting that the technology will work well. All right, so I'm going to hold this closer for you to take a look at first. See if I can straighten it for you. And what do you notice? What do you see when you look at this? This is for the individual now. Yeah. So what do I notice? What I notice when I look at this card is 2 faces. There's 2 sides of who we are. There's the pretty, we've had this card before, but it's been a while. There's the pretty little mask that we put on for everybody to make sure that, you know, we're following the rules and doing what we're supposed to and being good boys and girls and people. And then there's this little guy. Can you see like the face behind the mask? I can't tell which way to turn it. The face behind the mask looks like it's just a whole big old joke. Kind of like the Joker. Kind of looks like that. Pretty bow tie under the regular face that we present to everybody. And then this sort of serpent, I guess it's a snake, coming around the neck of the Joker guy and sort of wagging its little finger and tail behind the scenes. And then all of it, what I noticed this time, which see if you notice it also, is how real the guy is. And I know I'm saying guy, but it could be a girl. Like before, it looked like the face could actually, the mask could actually be part of this person. And now it's like the face and the body go together so well. The true person, which way do I turn it this way? The true person and the body, I can see how that's what's real. Like that's the real person, which I didn't notice before. Okay, so let's take a look at what the card says. It's card number 7 for those who are interested in numerology, numbers. And I always pull these new, so I never know like where's politics, what page we're going to go to. So you have to kind of walk with me as I go through the reading, you know. It's not all perfect and polished. It's not like the mask in here. Not really like that. All right, let's see what it says. It says, anybody who can be a good pretender, a hypocrite, will become your leader politically, will become your priest religiously. All that he needs is hypocrisy. All that he needs is cunningness. All that he needs is a facade to hide behind. Your politicians live double lives. Your priests live double lives, one from the front door, the other from the back door. And the back door life is their real life. Those front door smiles are just false. Those faces looking so innocent are just cultivated. And then it says here, all but the most innocent and sincere of us have a politician lurking somewhere in our minds. In fact, the mind is political. Its very nature is to plan and scheme and try to manipulate situations and people so that it can get what it wants. Here, the mind is represented by the snake, covered with clouds and speaking with a forked tongue. But the important thing to realize about this card is that both faces are false. The sweet, innocent, trust me face is a mask. And the evil, toxic, I'll have my way with you face is a mask too. Politicians don't have real faces. The whole game is a lie. Take a good look at yourself to see if you have been playing the game. What you see might be painful, but not as painful as continuing to play. It doesn't serve anybody's interest in the end, least of all yours. Whatever you might achieve in this way will just turn to dust in your hands. So what do we get from this for the individual now? The whole thing is a game. The whole card is just a game. It's all just to keep us entertained and active in the human experience. And I love that. I love that on the new moon in Aquarius, which Aquarius, I am an Aquarius. When you think of Aquarius, when I think of Aquarius, I think of like cosmic and galactic and understanding the universe and trying to bring all of this future unknown as of yet information here to this earthly plane, and then translating and trying to ground what an Aquarius might see and know from the stars. And the stars, the cosmos, the universe, the same thing. And so bringing it all here into this reality is like the challenge of the Aquarius. And when I look at this card at a new moon in Aquarius, what I see is like this whole human thing is just so ridiculous. We're all just wearing all these masks and letting the mind run circles around us and mess with us. And then we get stuck in these patterns that don't serve us. And we have the one face here and the other face there, and then all the confusion in the middle. And then when we are by ourselves quiet, the mind is like doing its twisty-turny thing. Like this whole reality is nuts. The politics of being a human. That's what I see when I look at this card. And how perfect on the new moon in Aquarius that would come forward. So how do we connect that to the individual now? The intention for pulling this card was show us the energy of the individual now. And what the guidance of Zen would say is, see that the whole thing is a game. Drop all the masks. Maybe a better way to say it is, observe that there is a game that is being played. Observe that you have all of this going on. This nice face you present, this manipulative face that you also are, and then this mind that twists us up in knots so we don't even know what's happening. Observe that this is occurring. Observe that this is your experience. And when you can do that, like this card is nudging us, urging us and nudging us to do, when you can look at it and go, oh, well, we're all doing that. Everyone is that. Even the ones of us, like any Aquarius who thinks that we have the future figured out and we can translate it here, we even are still doing this, right? Like, I put on my makeup and my mascara and do my hair pretty so that I look good for this video. Tomorrow, I might not look anything like this. And there are times where I do this little chuckle where I'm like, oh, it worked out exactly how I thought it would. Ah, ha, ha, right? Like, we are all of this, and it's okay. It's okay to be in the humanness of this experience and be playing the game along with everybody else. I feel like the wisdom, or not even the wisdom, the permission, the grace, is to recognize that we are doing that, to recognize that all of us are doing that, and then to have some compassion for just how hard it is, for how confusing it can be when we are changing facades in different relationships or settings or experiences. Like, it's exhausting and confusing. And so if we can have grace for ourselves to know that it's happening, and have grace for others because they're also trying to figure it out, maybe a potential for the individual now. What was our highest potential? Inner voice. Maybe what can happen if individually we all see that we are doing this. This is what it means to be human right now. We could start to put that down, and we could recognize, like I am right now, we could say, oh, right now I've got the pretty mask on. Maybe when you see me talking to Star, you'll see this not so nice person who's so irritated at the work it takes to take care of a dog, which really isn't even that much work. But yeah, we have all these different, look at me rub my eye like, oh, I don't want to look at that. We have all these different facets to ourselves, and maybe if we can say, that's who I am, that's who we all are, and why don't we talk about that? Why don't we allow others to witness that? Why don't we share that we are that? Maybe the conversations change. Maybe we all show up to meetings like this. We have like two faces, and then we hold up a little sign depending on which one we're feeling in the moment. Like, oh, you made me mad. I'm going to give you the mad mask. Oh, I like that. I approve of what you're doing. I'll give you the nice one. But what if we all communicate in that way? What if we are, the word I want is transparent. What if we are more transparent, more authentic, more able to say what we're feeling in the moment we're feeling it, acknowledge that we have this moving through us and not judge it, and then allow ourselves to be seen? How different would life become if individually we acknowledge the game, acknowledge the politics? It's so easy for us as a society, I believe, to point our fingers at those in public eye, like the politicians, and have a lot of judgment, a lot of voiced opinions about the masks that we see them wearing, and when they're human and they fail because they have so much pressure and attention on them, then we can jump in and go, we knew it all along, we knew that they were doing that thing. Well, we are too. So I don't know, maybe there's a way individually to begin shifting that, and it begins by acknowledging that that's what's happening. So yeah. All right, collective now. What is happening collectively on our planet? Let me see if I can hold this straight for you. So what do you notice as you look at this card? What jumps out at you? If we're talking about the collective now, all billions of humans on our planet at this time, why would this card show up? I'll tell you why it showed up. Because you know I have an opinion. It feels like we as a collective are ripe for, oh, my third eye. We are ripe for awareness, for something new being born, for, if this is connected to the new moon in Aquarius, we are ripe for something to fall from the stars. I don't know if you can see the stars back here. It's so hard to hold it straight because it's like backwards. There's like stars back here. So what if the universe consciousness is sitting behind all of this fruit and looking at humans and going, oh, humanity, collective, all humans on this planet, you're ready. Another fruit is about to drop down to the ground. Are you ready to pick it up? Are you ready for a shift? Aquarius is all about the future, the new energy, the new grid, the new blueprint being brought into form here on our planet. And so what if it's this simple and this easy? It's like, oh, here you go. Here's the new thing. Here's the next bit of information that you as humans need so that you can stop playing the politics, so that you can drop the masks and be more authentic and transparent and feel safe doing that. Collectively, we're telling you you're ready for that. You're ready for the next fruit, the next gift. I see a crescent moon right behind in the corner here, just a little crescent moon, which to me feels like right after the new moon this is going to be happening. Yeah. There's also five pieces of fruit, and there's a lot of conversation, that at least what I read and see, about the fifth dimension and 5G. Like 5 seems to be a number that is popping up pretty often. And so maybe it's an acknowledgement from the galaxy, from Source, from God. You know, you're ready. You guys are ready. You've been doing a lot of work, and keep doing your individual work of understanding you have all of these masks and faces, and drop them. Be transparent, because collectively you're all about to be birthed into something new, shifted into something that you're ripe and ready for. It's also a rainbow, what do they call those? Rainbow sequence, rainbow card. Hang on, I'm going to look it up. Suit of rainbows. And ripeness, let's see what they have to say for us. I don't pull this card very often in my own readings or general readings. I don't know if we've ever pulled it in this space. So yeah. All right, let's see if I can hold it and read all at the same time. Might have to trade because this microphone, I'm trying to figure out how to get used to having a microphone. Okay, there you go. I'll get better at this. Be patient with me. We're trying to figure it all together. Okay, here's what it says for ripeness. Only if your meditation has brought you a light that shines in every night will even death not be a death to you, but a door to the divine. A door to the divine. With the light in your heart, death itself is transformed into a door, and you enter into the universal spirit. You become one with the ocean. And unless you know the oceanic experience, you have lived in vain. Now is always the time, and the fruit is always ripe. You just need to gather courage to enter into your inner forest, which the next card is the inner voice. The fruit is always ripe, and the time is always the right time. There is no such thing as wrong time. And then the commentary says, when the fruit is ripe, it drops from the tree by itself. One moment it hangs by a thread from the branches of the tree, bursting with juice. The next moment it falls, not because it has been forced to fall or has made the effort to jump, but because the tree has recognized its ripeness and simply let it go. When this card appears in a reading, it indicates that you are ready to share your inner riches, your juice. All you need to do is relax right where you are and be willing for it to happen. This sharing of yourself, which goes along with that first card, this expression of your creativity can come in many ways. In your work, your relationships, your everyday life experience. No special preparation or effort on your part is required. It is simply the right time. Okay, so collectively, it's the right time for all of us. That's exciting. That's very exciting, especially because it's the beginning of a year. I've seen so many little videos and comments where people have said, I think the new year is just beginning now because January was just such a hot mess. And so here we are at the beginning of February, actually starting the new year. And that feels like a validation with the ripeness card. Like, now's the time. Now is the time. Okay, and then last card for this part of the reading, Inner Voice. This was for the highest possibilities. Let me do that. Highest possibilities for the next lunar cycle. So what do you notice as you look at it? Like, see what comes forward for you as you look at all the different elements in the card. There's a lot in this one. The highest possibilities. Perhaps the first one would be what do you choose to focus on for the next month? New Moon in Aquarius is very much about lots, to me at least, lots of information, lots of energy, lots of downloads. I know dream space has been super active for me, meditation times. I feel like there's just voices chatting directly with me quite a bit of the time. And so how do you focus? What do you choose to focus on? And if the highest potential for the next lunar cycle is this card of Inner Voice, perhaps we begin by closing the eyes, by claiming meditation time, by allowing all of this cosmic download to come in. Can you see that? It's like waves of energy across the top being brought down into the meditating human. But then inside of the meditating human is this consciousness, the big face, the what looks like to me the soul inside of the body. And so all of this downloaded information is coming into the human, but it's going to the spirit, the soul, the core of the human experience for all of us. The dolphins on the side, very much about joy and play. There's light dancing through the ocean water. Didn't the last card talk about the oceanic experience? Actually, I wanted to comment on that. When it said that about unless you have lived the oceanic experience, you have not actually lived. And to me, that when I read that and when I read what the card says about death is just a doorway to the divine, I feel like as humans there is such an ingrained belief, at least culturally here in the Midwest, the United States, this Western belief that you die and it's bad. Death arrives and you don't know what's going to happen, and so the experience is final, and we all debate over where the soul goes or if it even goes anywhere after death. And so it feels like there's a lot of fear around death. And so for Zen, that card to talk about, it's just a doorway to the divine. It's an opening to the next experience. And so what is there to be afraid of? And why not live your best life while you're alive, knowing when it's over you're going to go do something else, but you did your best while you were here? I talked about that in last week's podcast about, like, I'm going to wrap this life up with lots of good stuff to go take back to Source to share. There's such an abundance of creativity and love that I want to return to Source when I complete this journey. But when they talk about you haven't lived unless you've had that oceanic experience, I feel like the knowing inside of yourself that death is not final, that you can let it all go and you're going to evolve into whatever the next experience of your soul is. That's what they mean by that experience of being one with the ocean, being part of everything. And so you just end and you go into the next part of the experience, and when you know that, now you're alive. Now you've transcended the fear of death. You are living with excitement that there's going to be this ending that takes you to something else. And so that infuses your life with so much more joy and certainty. The unknown of death isn't scary anymore. It's like, okay, now what? And I feel that in this card with the dolphins playing on either side of this meditating mind. It's like all of the wisdom of the universe comes in through the meditating human into the consciousness at the soul at the center of the human experience. And then all this joy on the side, the ocean underneath, it mirrors the beauty of the information from the universe coming in. It's like the human is just held in between both of those energies. And then if you look, there's even like, it looks like the cosmos is underneath the water, which is supposed to be the human experience. The cosmos even sits in the water. It even sits inside this earthly plane. And so aren't we all just one beautiful experience of one, of wholeness, of unity? Whether we're part of the cosmos or this human here in the center, we're all in this one flow of energy together. I feel like there's a crystal right at the core of that consciousness of the face here at the bottom. This is such a stunningly beautiful card. And then inner voice, everything, if you look at it, it's like everything guides right into the center of that witnessing face. And so let's go back to the cards. If this is where we are individually, we're playing politics, we have all these masks, we're not being authentic or transparent, we're playing the game, which is what all humans do. There's no judgment, this is just what it is. If this is the individual experience and the highest possibility is to see the inner voice sitting at the center of the whole human experience, then we can just witness. We can witness this and go, oh yeah, I'm doing that thing again. Okay, well, let me just say I'm doing that thing and let people know. And then we'll move on and we'll do something different. Or we'll all talk about how we're doing that. And if this is true, that we're all ready for this shift, we're all ready to be more authentically ourselves and share our creativity and our gifts, what if we start tuning more and more into that inner voice and allowing that flow of energy that's galactic, universal, to come in and to be expressed out individually? I feel like if this is what we do, if this is how we choose to be, all that's just going to drop away. It's just going to be like, oh, masks? What masks? I am filled with the energy of the universe, held in the cosmos, playing in the oneness of this human realm. Like, what is a mask? What are politics? What does that even mean? Because we'll be so centered and trusting of that inner voice inside. It's like me, I can show up here and go, oh yeah, no, I do that. Like, I put that on, I take that off, I play these games. Yeah, I do that. And also, like, I do this. I do this. And this is more true to me. This is more true to me because I know when I'm doing this, because of this awareness of my inner voice, of this understanding that I'm connected to everything that exists and always will be, am in every breath and every moment. And so there's nothing to fear. There's just this awareness that there's a little game going on. And sometimes I'll engage in the game, like, putting on pretty makeup, and most of the times I won't. I'll just be me, doing this thing that I do that connects me as an Aquarius out to the universe. And when I say that about being an Aquarius, all of us have all the signs in our charts, our wholeness. This sign, let me rephrase that. I may look at this through an Aquarius lens and go, oh, this is an Aquarius card. Well, so will a Taurus, and so will a Gemini, and so will a Sagittarius, because we're all of that. We're all part of this flow of energy. The cosmos runs into all of us. And so there's really no separation or differences that are that significant. I mean, they play out in fun ways, and we get to, laugh about our zodiac signs and talk about the traits that we have that we are. But we're all just from the same energy, and we return to the same energy. So if we can trust, I feel like, last little nugget and then we'll wrap up. I feel like this half loop at the top could be like the filter. So so the universe is going to be transmitting all of this information to us as humans. Already is, always is. Like there's always this energy that is moving in and through the human individual. As that energy comes in to the top of our crown, which is how I see it and how this card represents it, and comes into our third eye, our consciousness, our brain, I feel like this half moon, this circle here, represents the filter, the unique filter that is my story I chose to play out in this lifetime. So there's this filter of my infinite soul coming into Vivian Gerard, running down into this life that I'm living and breathing and doing. And so I will have a unique way of expressing my inner voice because I have this filter of my story, the lessons I'm here to play out, the experiences that I am here to move through me and create. My filter will translate that energy in a very precise, specific way. So will yours. So will everybody else's. And so each individual inner voice will have a unique expression where none of us are the same. It's like, what do they say? There's no two fingerprints that are the same, which blows my mind. There's also no two humans that are the same. Even twins, triplets. Like we have different things that we are here to experience. And so our inner voice is going to translate in a very different way than anybody else's. So how cool if we drop all this and just have billions of individual pure consciousness voices connected without the masks, connected to the universe and translating what the universe is saying to us. I mean, we kind of do that already, but then we put all these things in front of that and it like twists and distorts the message, and it's not coming from, like, see the difference in the colors even? Like it's not coming from this purity of information, consciousness, truth, light. It's just all jumbled. But the time is right for all of us. And so what a beautiful message. What a beautiful message. All right, I am going to wrap this one up and start the extended in a minute, and I will put that on the webpage if you are interested in watching the next little piece of this, which will be wisdom from our guides. How do we move through the next lunar cycle in the highest possibilities? What guidance would they offer us? That video and the new moon meditation will be available on my website, and I'll put the link in the description. I wish you a beautiful new moon energy. Integrate whatever of this resonates into your activities. Share this video if you found any value, and help this message spread with those that are in your communities. I greatly appreciate that. It's exciting to create these, and it's really fun if you send your thoughts or your reflections back to tell me, like, yeah, that makes sense, or oh God, you hit a trigger button. I love all reflections, so please feel free to share. All right, I will see you next month. Mwah.